Hey everyone, it's Ben. This is going to be my first of several series reviews or just sort of me talking about some of the most important horror film series in my life and in many people's lives leading up to Halloween. I thought it only fitting to start with the godfather of the slasher movies, and that would be Michael Myers. The original Halloween obviously kicked off the slasher craze of the 80s. Even though a lot of people say, you know, it started with Psycho, it didn't really kick into gear until movies like Black Christmas and then eventually Halloween were actually premiered in the 70s. The Halloween film series has had its ups and downs over the years. Starting with John Carpenter, he has said in numerous interviews he never intended for there to be a franchise out of this film that he made in 1978. But that's what happened. And here we are in 2011, and there is going to be a new Halloween film coming out next year. Whether it's going to be with Todd Farmer, who had written a treatment following Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 that would follow the storyline incorporated by Rob Zombie, is yet to be seen. I'm just hopeful that Patrick Lussier and Todd Farmer are able to do it, because I loved My Bloody Valentine and would really look forward to seeing what they could do with the groundwork that Rob Zombie laid. So, now, for me over the years, every time they've released a new version of Halloween or any of the Halloween movies, I've always picked them up. I have this one that they just put out a few years ago. This is just where it was, I think this is right when Rob Zombie's film came out, the first one he did. And then I have the 25th anniversary edition. Now, I love the original Halloween. I think it's still one of the scariest movies ever made. And I didn't really explain this one. This one has the, when they shot Halloween 2 and Halloween was airing on TV, they did a couple of extra scenes to do filler scenes for the television edit of Halloween, and those are incorporated in here. And that's the scene where Dr. Loomis is talking to the hospital board about keeping Michael Myers in the asylum, and then also scenes after Michael had escaped, and one with Linda and Laurie, when Linda goes over to Laurie's house and says that someone was following her there. The original Halloween, like I said, is still one of the scariest movies ever made. The fact that John Carpenter did it for such a small budget, and it was such a well-written film, and terrific performances from Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis. I mean, you have just a wonderful, awesome, scary film that has stood the test of time and is still beloved by not only horror fans, but I think film fans. It's just one of those films that still works. It's still scary. It's because I think the villain is so ambiguous in it. You don't know what his motives are, and a lot of people said that that's what made the sequels that came after that much less impactful, because Michael had a motive. In the original, he didn't have a motive. He was just there, almost like he was playing tricks and trying to get a rise out of the girls before he eventually stalked and killed them. And I mean, terrific performances. Nick Castle as Michael Myers is still one of my favorites. I think he's one of the best that's played him. And I know it was just a simple role for him. He was a friend of John Carpenter's. He came, he put the mask on, he did the stuff. But it's just little things that he did that other actors going forward have tried to incorporate into their performance as Michael Myers. And I think it's a testament to who Nick Castle was as a performer, as an actor, that little things that he did that maybe he didn't think were that important have gone on into the other sequels. Now, Halloween 2, and again, I have a couple copies of this. I have the new Blu-ray, which I've already done a review on, and then the bare bones DVD that came out 10 years ago. Halloween 2, I think, is treated as the redheaded stepchild of the original Halloween, when in fact I think Halloween 2 is just as good as the original Halloween. for several factors. Number one, it's got John Carpenter's writing. It's got the feel of John Carpenter. It's a unique sequel in that it picks up right when the first Halloween left off. It's not a year later. It's right after the first one. Donald Pleasance, again, is amazing. Jamie Lee Curtis, whose character was kind of, everybody complains that, oh, well, she's kind of comatose through the whole film because she's in the hospital. But it made sense. She got hurt in the first film. So, yeah, she's going to be laid up in, a hospital recouping from the first film. And I thought that was great that she was kind of in this confined, isolated area that she couldn't get out of. And she had the doctors and the nurses that were, giving her drugs to sedate her and to, kind of keep her calm while the time Michael was getting closer and closer to her. And I still think the ending of this, could have capped the Halloween series, and it would have been a fitting end if they had decided to stop here. It's pretty final. But at the same time, I love these characters, and I was happy that they decided to make more Halloween films going forward. But Halloween 2 I still think is one of the best horror sequels ever made. Next to Psycho 2, it is one of my favorites. And I do think it has just as many thrills. It is a little bit more violent. But that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, compared to some of the films that come out now, it's pretty tame. But the first two Halloweens will always be my favorite. Even though Rick Rosenthal directed the second film, they both have that John Carpenter feel. And, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill were heavily involved in Halloween 2. It was the last one they did concerning Michael Myers. Hands off to this one. It's still, I think, it's a great sequel, two of the scariest movies ever made, and perfect Halloween watching. Halloween 3, a lot of people say, Halloween 3 isn't a bad film. It just was unlucky to have the Halloween name and had nothing to do with Michael Myers, but I did not like that film. I do not consider it a part of the Halloween mythology for me. I don't own it. I never plan on owning it, and after seeing it, I just really don't want to see it again. So, that's where I stand with that one. And I love Tom Atkins. I think he's a great actor. Just was not a fan of Halloween 3 at all. I don't know why they made it. I don't know why. I understood what they were trying to do, but they should have called it something else. Like, I think I heard a rumor, someone said, or not a rumor, but on the Halloween documentary, saying that they should have just called it Season of the Witch and not associate it with Halloween in terms of the title. But can't go back and change things. So now we'll move on to Halloween 4.